Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75964. This is the LEGO Harry Potter Advent Calendar, containing 305 pieces and retailing for a total of $39.99, which is the same price as they've done all Star Wars Advent Calendars in the past, and this is the only other licensed Advent Calendar they've done. Remains to be seen if they'll do a second Harry Potter one this Christmas season. Or the 2020 Christmas season, that is. I got this like a month ago, but it's taking me a while to review it, and I'll explain why later. But on the front of the box, it shows you a couple of the builds that are included. Shows you it's got a to and from on the top, which is an Advent Calendar only thing. Shows you the actual size of the minifigure, and this shows you what the back of the box looks like opened up. I will open this up, and you'll see all that at the end. But we're gonna look through each day individually, and then at the very end we'll throw them all together in the same spot and see what kind of scene it makes up. And they don't show you all of the builds on the box here. They just show you some of the, I guess, things that they'll think you'll find interesting, which I guess here they show you an exclusive Hermione, exclusive Harry, and Dumbledore from the Great Hall set. So it looks like they're sort of building up a little Hogwarts interior, I guess. And going through this day by day, on day one, behind the first door, we have Harry, and he's in his exclusive Christmas sweater, which is pretty cool. I forget which book this one is from, but every Christmas they do, or every book there's a Christmas chapter, and this is either from the Sorcerer's Stone or from the Chamber of Secrets. I don't remember which one, but I remember the scene. And Ron also gets one with an R in the same scene, so maybe that'll be coming up. But front and back of the torso are exclusive prints. They look really good with the little snowflakes or whatever, the little white dots. And he does get a wand, and you do get an extra of his wand. And his face print is nice, but it's the same as in all the other sets. And I like the new Harry Potter hairpiece that shows the little scar. And day two is a mini model of the Hogwarts Express, and I guess that's a pretty sensible mini model to include here. It's probably the most iconic vehicle from Harry Potter. Probably one of the most iconic individual things too. But it's a good look for a micro train. They've done a lot of micro build trains in Winter Village sets and stuff in the past that I've gotten, as well as there are several different versions of mini trains in the Disney train and station, which I just recently built. But this one's different from all of them. I really like the use of these rounded bricks on the front. Those aren't too common either, and of course I always like the use of roller skates as wheels on micro builds. But this is a pretty decent looking model of the Hogwarts Express. It's definitely recognizable, and I guess it's sort of at the scale where it could be seen as a toy or a Christmas present for some of the figures, if you wanted to. Or, they could use this to maybe build a micro Hogwarts. Interesting enough, we actually get two builds for day three. They're two of the exact same build, of course, these two small trees, but these are kind of nice little Christmassy trees. They have the stars on the top. The way they pull that off is pretty neat. They just use one of these bar pieces with a stud at the end, and one of those golden star pieces that I think they introduced in Friends. I'm always going to remember that piece is the one that they used for the Falcon's little feet in the rebooted Ninja Copter. But they've got the snow on the top. They've got the some leaves which look fine. They're good. They're small, about the height of a child figure. So these would probably be like, I don't know, 4 foot tall trees or something. Just some small stuff, but I don't know, they look nice. Oh, and day 4 is a larger tree, which, this actually looks really good. I like the way that they built this one up. But, not gonna lie, it's kind of, or it would be kind of boring if you were going through this as an advent calendar, which I'm not here. I bought this on clearance just for parts and figures. But, if I was doing this as an extra advent calendar, I'd be a little bit disappointed to just get trees 2 days in a row. But they do look good if I bring in the day 3 trees. Looks like that looks nice, but it's just trees. Day 5 is a little flag post thing with the Gryffindor colors. I don't know where these flags are supposed to go in the castle, but I don't know, maybe in the Great Hall or something. you could do something with these flags. I don't recall specifically flags in the shape of these from the movies or books or anything, but it's a flagpole, sort of. Like, not really a pole, but post thing. Day 6 brings us this Professor McGonagall figure, which is actually kind of cool. I think it may actually be exclusive for the face print. At least Brickset says it is. I can't tell if that's completely true. It looks the same as the Great Hall version from this angle, but the Great Hall version actually has an alternate facial expression, which this one lacks. So I think the head print with just a single side might be exclusive to this head, which, it's kind of cool, I guess. It makes sense because, now you can't see her mouth if you have her leaning or, like, standing up straight. But the torso print on there is really nice. I like the way that looks, and printing on the front is good. It continues well into the legs, and you do get an extra rubber wand as well. And, overall, a well-made figure, and, if it is slightly exclusive, that's kind of nice. And Day 7 is this little table. It looks pretty much like a Great Hall table. I think it's built pretty similarly to the ones in the actual Great Hall set, just shorter. And you can stand a short figure at it, and that looks pretty reasonable. And also, not on the two ends because they'll hit the legs there, but you can also sit a regular figure on there because there is a whole full brick of height between the bench and the actual, table part. So you can get some figures sitting on there, and that looks pretty reasonable. Yeah, it's fine. It's pretty simple, but it works pretty decently well. And Day 8 is some food to go on the table. We got this turkey assembly, which those were always nice parts to get. They're not very common, and don't come in too many cheap sets too often. So it's cool to get here. We do also get 3 of these little ice cream pieces in orange. I don't know what kind of food that's supposed to represent. Like buttered popcorn or something, which I don't remember them having in the Great Hall, but whatever they want to eat. Maybe it's actually orange ice cream. That's a possibility too. But the most interesting thing here is actually this plate piece. This is actually exclusive in an unprinted version here. They do use it in the CMF series for Dumbledore, and that represents the pensieve, but here it's just a plate, and it's cool and exclusive and nice and well printed, and it was very difficult to balance this turkey inside the plate there, so I would not recommend it. It took me a couple minutes to get it set up for the beginning of the shot, and I'm not going to try again. So there you go. Day 9 is a Slytherin flag post, and I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just a flag post with Slytherin colors, but I will put a figure there so you can see how tall they actually are, because I didn't do that last time. Day 10 brings us this exclusive version of Ron with his sweater, and it's cool. I like these sweater prints. Notice Ron's appears to be a little bit crooked. That's intentional, not printing error or anything. And he's got the little stars on there as well, some back printing on there. And he does have an alternate facial expression as well. The head print is the same as the one in the regular sets, though. And, of course, he does come with a spare wand. Day 11 is this other little table. Basically, same base build. Interesting thing to note, they use hollow studs for the feet of this one, while they use regular studs for the other one, but that's because they need a hollow stud for the rest of this build, and there's really no other difference. It just has a little candle holder sitting on there, and the candle holder is using these new Harry Potter candle pieces. If you don't have any of the actual Harry Potter sets, you won't be too familiar with these. You get an extra of this flame part, which is kind of cool. And I guess you do also get an extra of that and that. So, it is what it is. Again, figures considered that like the other one because it is built the same way. Day 12 gives us an additional assortment of foodstuffs. We have this cream pie, which is the one that has the yellowish filling that they first used with Krusty the Clown. For some reason, Brickset says that this is a new part ID, so I don't know if they changed anything. It doesn't appear that they did, but maybe it's a slightly different color. You get 2 of those cups, and then you get another one of those plain old metallic silver printed plates, as well as a croissant, and 2 of these cookies. There is also an extra spare of those cookies included in the set. So, you could just throw the third one on the plate and make it 3, but you're more likely to just eat the cookie first before it ever makes it to the plate. Yay, a Ravenclaw flag for day 13, woohoo. And day 14 gives us this little Hermione figure, who actually also has an exclusive torso print. No holiday sweater for her, she just has her relatively formal uniform. But that is a new print for the uniform. It differs from the ones in the CMFs and the sets, because she's wearing her jacket here, or cloak, or whatever you want to call it. And she does have that scarf, which that scarf is a nice print and looks good. She does have both of her regular facial expressions and her dark tan wand, which is just, the regular color for that, and you do get an extra one of that. And she has her hairpiece from, the Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets sets, and, it looks good. Nicely done figure, and nice that it is exclusive when they could have just gotten away with reusing the old torso print. Day 15 almost gives us a whole figure too. We've got this snow wizard, which you can remove the head if you wanted to and just make it a regular snowman. And he's got a scarf which is the same color that they've used every time they've included that scarf in a set previously. We are finally getting a new color for it in 2020, so that'll be cool. But this is fine. It would have been maybe cool to get a new, maybe even a printed scarf to look like Hermione's Gryffindor scarf. That would have been really, really, really awesome. But this is fine for what it is, and it's nice to get a snowman in here because something sort of Christmassy. And day 16, we have this mini chess set, which this is kind of cool. It's sort of based on the challenge from the Sorcerer's Stone. One of the 3 rooms that they needed to go through. And that's kind of cool. I guess it's not directly based on that. You could just see it as Wizard chess, but it's obviously a micro chessboard. It doesn't have a full 8x8 and just has 4 pieces on each side. But you can tell what this is instantly, and I think that's great. You got I don't know if the figure is supposed to represent the king or the queen. I guess probably the king, and this would be the queen. And then we have bishops. But it's a good looking chessboard. And this is a really nice little micro build. I like this a lot. It is kind of large for figures to just be playing it, but there are chessboards of all sizes. There's giant, like, human-sized chess as well. So this works. I like it a lot. Might be the best build that we've gotten from this advent calendar so far. And these plain white and plain black nano figures, those aren't too common either. And day 17 is our Hufflepuff flag, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but those silver colors for these flags that were used on the Ravenclaw and Slytherin ones, that's actually exclusive to the set, so that is kind of cool, but not this one. This one's got nothing special. And then next up for day 18, we have Flitwick, and this is a new version of Flitwick. He actually has a new face and a new torso. I wouldn't be surprised if the face appears in other sets if we ever get like another Hogwarts extension that includes a Flitwick figure. It might include this face as well, but it's currently exclusive. The hair was used in the CMFs and was introduced there, which is cool. And, he does have his bow tie, and if we remove his head, which might be impossible, well, you can see the back print on there, but I don't know, I guess maybe the head does not want to show you the torso print that's underneath the bow tie. Yeah, I tried. Flitwick's head is never coming off. So, on to day 19, and this looks a lot like day 17, because it is day 17, because I didn't get a day 19, I got 2 day 17. So, I have to contact customer service, and it took like 2 weeks, so I didn't want to do it as just a, I'm missing these parts order, because, if I said I was missing all of these parts, they'd probably be like, no, and wouldn't do anything about it, so I emailed them separately, and it took them like a week to reply to that, and then like a week for this to get out, so it took a little while, but I did finally get my little fireplace thing. Kind of a shame that, it was one of these boring flags that they decided to give me an extra of, but whatever. Now that we got it here, it's a fireplace. It looks fine. It is what it is. It's one of the more substantial builds here. Decently tall. It uses these scroll bricks. Those are kind of cool. And I like the use of the cherries and a little wreath there. But, and then, it's nothing too crazy special. Just, it's a fireplace. And I like it. I do think that, if I recall correctly, these 1x1 round tiles in this color, I think those are relatively uncommon as well. Day 20 here gives us this little, base thing, which has a printed 2x2 tile for Gryffindor, for Hufflepuff, for Slytherin, and 4 Ravenclaw, and those are really cool. They only came in the Harry Potter Build Your Own Adventure book thing, and you know, it's nice to get them here as well. This is slightly more expensive, but it's also slightly more widely available. Like, you'll see this in more places. I think the Advent calendar, or the little book, will probably last longer, because this retires right after the Christmas season, but, you know, it is a nice way to get this. You know, you don't have to go out and buy that book thing. Next up, we have this Hogwarts architect statue and this little mini model of Hogwarts, which I guess you can put into his hand if you wanted to. And, you know, that looks pretty decent. He actually is an exclusive minifigure, because that beard is an exclusive recolor of Vitruvius's beard from the Lego movie, which we haven't seen since 2014. He has no printing on him at all or anything, but it looks pretty good. He does have this build, which is supposed to look like a scroll in his left hand there, and yeah, it's a good looking thing. But the other cool thing about this is that you can plop it onto the base that we got yesterday, and now you have this really cool looking statue. And I think this is probably my favorite build out of the entire Advent calendar so far. So unless there's anything that's going to beat it in the next couple days, you know, this is pretty well done, and I like it quite a bit. This would look good, like, right outside the Great Hall if you just plop it right in front. It'll look nice. And day 22 gives us some presents. We have one with the color scheme of each of the Hogwarts houses. We have a Hufflepuff gift, which is probably the most boring and simplest looking. Slytherin, probably second most boring. And then we have the Ravenclaw and Gryffindor gifts, which use these printed 1x2 tiles of this letter with a wax seal on it. And those are actually really uncommon parts. I think they were first introduced like in the wave that the set came out in. I think they came in the Beauxbaton's carriage, I think, right? And I don't think anything else. And I think there was only one in the Beauxbaton's carriage set, so this, you know, gives you 2, and it's a nice way to get that part, which is a good looking part. And day 23 gives us Dumbledore, who's probably our last minifigure. You know, this is the only minifigure that is not exclusive to this set. It does appear in the Great Hall, which is sort of a starter Harry Potter set in a way, because, you know, it's kind of the big thing that, you know, everyone will want. But if you didn't get that $100 set, this is a good way to get this figure. The hairpiece was new for that figure, and he does have a nice facial print underneath his beard, which his beard is the old Gandalf beard. Nothing new about that. But if we look at his face print underneath, he does have some good torso printing, and he does have an alternate facial expression, so you can have him with or without glasses. And, you know, it's a good figure, just the least exciting for me, because I do have the Great Hall. And interestingly enough, the last day isn't anything especially Christmassy, but you do get some decent and interesting stuff here. First off, we have Hedwig, which it's always cool to get Hedwig there. We do get this printed 1x2 chocolate bar piece, which is nice. We do also get 2 wands. I guess one's probably only technically supposed to be there, but you do get the extra because it comes on a sprue. We get this book here, which features inside of it the instructions to perform Wingardium Leviosa. That's a print that we've seen in a bunch of sets. But this here is a print that is brand new for this set. It is a Hogwarts acceptance letter. And that's a really cool print on a 2x3 tile here. You can actually read the whole thing, which, this is just a really nice part, and I'm glad that they included it here. Yeah, so, final day. Let's see what everything looks like when we put it all together. And here we have all of the contents of the set, and there's just a look at the background a little bit further. I like the overall Hogwarts design of this back area. You know, it looks nice. Oops, I guess I should move this over a little bit so it doesn't block that door. But, you know, it's a good-looking batch of stuff here. As far as being $40 worth, I don't know about that one. I guess, you know, the figures here are all really good, and I would say, in that regard, it's better than the Star Wars Advent calendars, because those ones only get one exclusive figure, and the rest are mostly just kind of random whatever. Here, I think the overall level of consistency in the figures is good, but I do think that as an Advent calendar, it's kind of a little more lame than the Star Wars one. There's a lot of repetition here, like 4 flags in a row. And, you know, 2 days of trees, 2 days of tables. I guess 2 days of food probably wouldn't bother most kids, because, I don't know, At least when I was a kid, I liked getting food pieces. But you know, it's overall a pretty good batch of stuff. Also, I didn't punch out all the doors. I just pulled it out through the side and looked up the instructions online. I should mention that now. But I do think there's certain stuff in here that is really good and definitely worth getting the set for, which specifically would be the Harry and Ron sweaters. The acceptance letter print, that's really cool. I like this a lot, and I do also like the architect statue. I think that's fantastic. The trees, yeah, they're a little bit repetitive for, an advent calendar. Not super exciting, but I do think that they look good. And I'll probably add those right outside my Hogwarts just because it'll look nice. The other stuff, the tables are probably useful, next to the Great Hall. And again, the figures are all really good. I think Dumbledore's probably the weak link there, only because he's, not exclusive. It would maybe have been nice to see a different combination of Professor figures, because Dumbledore and McGonagall are both in the Great Hall as characters, so maybe it would have been nice to get Snape here, so this would be even more of a draw for you to get if you already own the Great Hall. But, other than that, I think getting this discounted would probably be a good idea, just because I don't know that I see $40 of value here, but, when you factor in the Advent Calendar experience, you might get $40 of value out of it that way. But as far as being compared to the other ones, I think this is probably my favorite of the 2019 ones. Definitely better than Star Wars. Definitely better than Friends. The City one may be better only because it is $10 cheaper. But other than that, both of them are pretty good sets, and if you're a Harry Potter fan, I think you would enjoy this, even just for parts. So, if you see it discounted, maybe you want to pick it up and maybe do it next Christmas season. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.